Howdy, howdy Court Street congregation for our third installment of Holy Cowow Church on Wednesday and on the web. It's been really interesting doing these segments. I feel that we are connecting somewhat to each other and not forgetting each other. And I can't wait till we can see each other. And there are plans in making about having an outside service where we could all come and be socially distant, and that 6 feet apart would be observed, and that we'd still feel like a congregation. I want you to know that I feel really good about some of the people we have today on the show. We have Julia Shady, a woman who I respect very much, and a colleague that while she was at Court Street, we did amazing things for fine arts and music. And she's going to be talking to us about how the situations have affected her life, and as someone who's been in New York. And then we also are going to talk to Desi Voigt, an independent small business owner right here in Loves Park, and how it's affected. A new segment for this show, since you know Holy Cow is supposed to be a potluck, will be a segment called Cooking with Court Street. And one of our best Court Street chefs, Cindy Anderson, is going to share a recipe with us and tell us how we can make that heavenly hamburger tater tot casserole people have been asking for. So I'm really excited about this joyful month of June. I want to celebrate all the fathers, and let's get started, okay?
Hello, this is Dick Wang with another Wang's Wisdom, or Wisdom from Wang. I have a question that has to do with the calendar and two dates. One that is in February, the 14th, and the other was a recent Sunday in May, the 24th. Both days end with a 4. One's the 14th of February, the other is the 24th of May. The day in February, we call that Valentine's Day, or sometimes we call it St. Valentine's Day. And the day that I'm talking about in May, we call it in the Methodist Church Aldersgate Day, or in this case, it's Aldersgate Sunday. Now, they have something in common between them, and I'm wondering if you can guess what it is. It's kind of a symbol. It's a visual kind of thing. And I'll give you a few moments to think about it. If you think about Valentine's Day, and then this also happens in the 24th of May, it carries into that too. Think about that a minute.
And now it's time for Jabbin' with Jim.
Certainly one of the joys of this situation, if there can be a joy, was when Julia Shady called us and said, "Hey, I'm in town, can I come practice the piano?" And we said, you can not only practice the piano, but you can also be our musical person for one of our shows, our congregation. Can I start over?
Of course. And start, welcome to Jabbin' with Jim.
Okay.
Got that.
Welcome to Jabbin' with Jim. One of the joys of this situation is that it has brought some people back to Rockford and some people back to Court Street that we haven't seen for a while. Julia Shady, our former musical director and organist, and well, let's really say the great grilled cheese sandwich champion, called us and said, "Hey, I'm home from New York, I need to practice. Can I practice, Pastor Cal?" And we said, "Of course you can." Pastor Cal said, "Of course you can." And she came and we put her on for one of our church services, and the joy and the excitement that people had in our congregation when they saw her and her friends perform for us was great. So she's still here in Rockford, and this is our first Broadway interview guest host, guest star. Julia, welcome to Jabbing with Jim. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Jim. I'm good.
So it's so great to see you. I lost touch with you after you left Court Street. What did you do after you went to Court Street? You left Court Street.
I really wanted to, I auditioned to go back to school, to go to grad school, and didn't get into the program I wanted to. But in the meantime, I had been going back to Rockford University to play for musicals and shows again. And I kind of realized that that was my passion. And maybe I wanted to do that before I tried getting a teaching degree or something. So I spent a few years, being the main accompanist at Rockford University, playing for all the vocal lessons and recitals and shows and
some high school shows.
And some high school shows, yep. And then in 2018, in 2017, I had connected with an arranger from a Broadway production named Larry Hockman, who's a Tony Award winning guy who I had worked with back in 2007 at Starlight. And I said, do you remember me at all? I kind of want to get into musical theater like in Chicago, and I don't know how to do that. And he connected me with a music contractor, and I got my first summer gig in Chicago, and then at Chicago Shakespeare Theater. And then I got that same gig again the next summer, and I thought maybe I should try moving to Chicago for a year and see if I can make it and see what happens. And
look what happened.
Exploded.
Yeah. I bet that school that rejected you, you can now say, I'm sorry, I can't come back. I'm a Broadway musical director. Well, the good things happen to good people, you know. So tell me how it felt, though. You've got this play. You're so close to opening night on Broadway, and they tell you we're not going to open because of the COVID problem. How did that feel?
Oh, it felt, not to be overly dramatic, I know there's a lot going on in the world, but at the time it felt devastating. I mean, we had been rehearsing very intense rehearsals in New York. We had performed 36 preview shows to audiences at the theater, and it was our big opening night, press night.
And people were talking about how great this show is going to be on Broadway, too. I mean, even here in Illinois, we heard 666 is going to be a big show.
Yeah, and I mean, there was huge buzz already. The audiences were already responding in a huge way. And yeah, that night I'm sitting in my dad came from Alabama to come to opening night. I'm sitting in his hotel room, setting up little gifts for everybody and gift bags. And then I get this email that says we're not opening and Broadway is suspended. It was awful. I mean, it hurt. It hurt a lot, it was just such a letdown.
How did you get through it? Did there any messages or any scripture or any wise wisdom from other people come to your mind?
My dad being there actually really helped. He had planned on being there for a couple days anyway, and I didn't think I was going to actually see him that much. And then I ended up getting to spend like 2 days with him. And my dad, he kept telling me, I can tell you're meant to be here right now. Just, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And after he left, it just like things were starting to get sort of panicky in the city. I live right in Manhattan, and I thought Charlie was supposed to come visit me for spring break the next week, and I knew I wasn't going to let him fly in. And so I thought, well, I'll go back to Rockford to see Charlie for spring break. And I didn't know I would be staying here for months.
So you have an apartment in New York now.
Yes.
That you're not living in.
Right.
Okay. So, well, I see you do, and we've mentioned another person who Court Street misses a lot. Hi, Charlie. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. I've noticed your voice has changed, though. You're not that tenor anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. All those, you know, the terrible three that I always used to call them, Charlie, Alex, and Carter, they're all grown up. They drive, and it's hard to believe. So, Charlie, where are you and what are you doing?
Well, I'm in Oak Park with my dad and in Rockford with mom. I haven't been doing much lately. You know, finally just graduated junior year, about to be a senior, so that's nice. But recently I have been trying to like improve my voice a lot. I've been taking a lot of vocal lessons recently. I used to do one at this place called School of Rock in Oak Park.
Uh-huh.
It was a really nice place, but I've been trying to improve myself to follow in her footsteps because, I mean, I want to be a musician, and she taught me so much already. So yeah,
You got great footsteps to follow, and you got a great teacher and mentor right there. So we miss you at Court Street.
We miss you guys too.
yeah.
So Julia, what is in the future for Six?
Right now, the Broadway League is the group that sort of determines when we get to go back, and it's a group of there's actually 16 unions involved in Broadway shows. If you can believe that, you know, from the front of house people and the ushers and everybody has a union there. So there's a Broadway League that just based on the CDC suggestions decides when we get to open. Right now, the date they say is September 6th, but I will say that I haven't heard anything from my production company about coming back yet. So I'm kind of confident that date is going to get pushed back.
So how do you make it through till there, or what do you do?
It's hard. It's really hard. I bought an electric bass. I'm learning how to play bass. And I'm actually getting kind of good at it.
I imagine, yeah. I hear you even do choreography in the play Six.
That's true.
You do.
Yeah. It's not anything intense, but yeah, there is some choreography.
Oh, that's
I miss the show so bad. I miss my bandmates. I miss the queens and just everybody we work with.
What's the show about, Julia? Some of our people wouldn't know.
Oh, okay. So the show is about the 6 wives of Henry VIII, and it's presented as a pop concert where they're having a competition about who had it worse with the king. And in the UK anyway, when they learn the Tudor queens, they learn divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. And so they each have like a number that they do about their life with the king and their lives in general. And then there's some group numbers and stuff too. So it's sort of telling the story of the Tudor queens, but the underlying current and what you like discover at the end is that they are people in their own right and shouldn't be identified by being wives of a king. They each contributed things to society and their world, you know, that they should be recognized for and not just be known as someone that was beheaded by a king.
Well, now I heard the opening. I heard the number there. The opening number on the Sirius station, where each one said what you just said. It sounded like Cell Block Tango to me.
Yes.
Okay. And I went, wow, is this fantastic?
You know, it looks a little bit like that too, because in the very opening, they're in front of a curtain and the band is hiding behind the curtain and you can't see that there's a band on stage. Oh. And they say divorce, gung gung, and a light comes up on them. So they each get a spotlight. And then when the music starts, the curtain, literally a guy pulls the curtains away and they run backstage as fast as they can to whip this curtain apart. And then you can see the whole band on stage and everything in the set. It's pretty cool.
That's what great's about theater. The joy that you have right there is the joy that you gave so many of our congregations people when you came back and and say, people, we got more replies. Julia's on. So it's great. I
love the Court Streeters.
I wish maybe we can do a field trip to New York in a couple years. Do you think
that would be awesome?
Do you think the show will still be there? You hope.
Oh, I think so. Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, I've gotten a lot of reassurance that the show will still open because it's ready to go, and I think that the show will have a long run. I think so.
Yeah. And a little bit of Court Street will be on Broadway. I just want you to know, can you still play Happy Birthday like a reggae?
Of course.
Okay.
I'll play Happy Birthday any style you want, Jim.
I know, and you can do it. Okay. All right. Julia, Charlie, thanks a lot. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Wish nothing but great things for you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, Court Street hasn't really closed down, as you can see, because it's had its wonderful garden bazaar. I want you to know I got some plants from it, and they're living still, and I'm watering them, and it's still an active place. And we sent out our Holy Cowow reporter. We do have one, and she's very popular with you people. Her name is Violet, and she's at the Court Street Garden Bazaar, and here's her report. Take it away, Violet.
Hello, my adoring public. It's me, Violet Bouquet. I'm here at Court Street United Methodist Church for their annual Garden Bazaar, my favorite event. Let's go take a look, shall we? When I was in grade school, I won first prize in being able to identify what herbs I was smelling. Let me show you. Well, it's not pot. Smells Italian. Must be oregano. I can tell you, I've always had the best customer service here. You can say at Court Street, with all of these plants, they're rooting for you. This is my good friend Sue. I see her every year at the Garden Bazaar. Sue, I know I ask every year, but can I buy this? Isn't it lovely?
It is a lovely tree, but no, it belongs to the church. We have other things you can buy. We've got zinnias, and we've got tomato plants, and vinca and petunias, geraniums, and...
Any carnations?
No.
Oh, I'm heartbroken.
Not this year. I'm sorry. We have a popcorn plant.
A popcorn plant?
If you touch its leaves, it smells like popcorn.
Okay, now that said, can we go see the popcorn plant?
You want me to go get it? This is our popcorn plant. It smells like popcorn.
Oh, it smells like a Saturday night movie. My best advice in life is always to return to your roots. The same goes true for plants. You want to make sure they have their roots in the ground. I made the mistake once of putting them in head side down, and let's just say they stopped liking me after that. It's amazing. We have so many plants, but a lot of them are here because we have done pre-orders. Like this, Sue buzzed. I wonder if she has bees. I'm here among the tulips. And aren't they fantastic? These will grow very strong indeed. This was so much fun. I'm so glad you could join me here in cyberspace. But you have to come out next year and see the wonderful plants and here at the Court Street UMC Garden Bazaar.
And now it's time for Notes from the Nurse.
Hi, this is Teresa from for Holy Cow this time. That's going to introduce you to my friend Martha Dahlberg, who is a professional voice instructor, and she is going to give us some tips on how to take deep breathing exercises and how it's good for our bodies and good for our brains. So let me introduce you to my friend Martha, and I hope this is helpful.
Hi. Welcome to learning how to breathe deeply, particularly using your diaphragm. If you can find a dining room chair, something that's hard, and sit in it and pull yourself forward so that the edge of the seat is about mid-thigh. And this way you can sort of hold your spine more aligned. It's not a matter of being too straight and stiff, because then the diaphragm does not work very well. If you can, put both your hands or one hand on your rib cage, which is where your diaphragm is located. So when you take a breath, you should feel your rib cage expand. As you exhale, the rib cage will go back in, and the diaphragm muscle is taking a breath, and then you're exhaling it as you're using your air. So that's just the basics on diaphragmatic breathing. Hi. So it's very important that when you take a breath in, that you don't lift your upper chest area, because you've breathed into the smallest part of the lung. The largest part of the lung is down here closest to the diaphragm, which is why if you put your hands here, take a breath, don't go like this. And when I'm talking to my voice students, I say that this type of action is the schlumpies. So you don't really want to allow yourself to slump into your diaphragm, because it's harder to use. So for a breathing exercise, if you put your hands down here in your lower rib cage, take a breath, then start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you should feel the diaphragm moving that rib cage, and only count as long as you comfortably can. As you practice this more, you will be able to count sometimes, 8 times of 10. You can count to 4, you can count to 6, you can count in another language, it doesn't really matter. So that's a good exercise to practice. Try to feel that you're keeping your back as aligned as possible. It is kind of straight, but it's not pulling the upper shoulders back. So that, again, that's important. Use your hands on your rib cage to help practice, and don't let the front of your body slump. This is the way that we are born breathing, and this is the way that we breathe when we are asleep or we're unconscious. And this is a great way to get more oxygen into your blood vessels and your brain.
And now it's time for Jabbin' with Jim.
Welcome back to Jabbin' with Jim. And as the first guest, Julia Shady told us how the situation has affected her in New York. Well, it's affected many of our congregation locally. And I'd like to talk to our next person, Desi Voigt. Hello, Desi.
Hi.
How are ya?
I'm good.
Okay, I am so glad that you decided to do this. I know you were a little bit hesitant at first. You don't like to...
No, I said no.
I know, you did say no. But then someone from above probably said, Desi, you should do this.
That's really what happened.
Well,
no joking aside, that really is what happened.
That's fantastic, because I think you have a message to tell our congregation. First of all, June has been an interesting month for you, because not only not working, but because of 2 celebrations. How does it feel to be the mother of a college graduate? And
I know.
Mother of someone going into high school.
I don't know which one's crazier, honestly.
Well, tell us what about Abby did, for sure. I mean, where she went to school and what she's going to do?
Abby, she's right here, actually. That's why I'm looking this way. She graduated from the University of Iowa. She has a bachelor's degree in, I know what it is, health and human physiology.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. Abby, get in the picture. Get in the picture. Come on. Abby, there you go. Hi, Abby. Now, are you a nurse now?
I'm not a nurse.
Okay, what are you? Besides a gorgeous grown-up woman.
Well, technically, I am a certified nurse assistant. But other than that, not really anything yet. I still have to go into a program, and I'm thinking about becoming a sonographer, so like doing ultrasounds. So I had to apply to programs for that.
I've been in the hospital a couple times this last year, and I didn't realize how the ultrasound person is really an important person. I just thought it was something a nurse needed to know how to do. Very important, yeah. So, well, you're all grown up, Abby.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, and tell us about Jacob, Desi.
Yes, Jake finished 8th grade. They didn't have their graduation, but he got his little diploma and cap and gown. He's over there on the couch.
Jacob, get off the couch and go over here. Come on. Come on, Jacob. Is he coming?
He might be coming.
Okay, all right.
Yes, so he's going to be in high school next year.
Get over here, Jacob. Yeah. Oh, so how are you, Jake?
I'm good.
Good. We can't see all of you. There.
That's the point.
Yeah.
He's hiding.
Okay.
I'm in a robe, man.
Okay. All right.
He's lived in his robe, so.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
So.
Well, then there's Natalie. She'll be in a new school too, because she's
there?
going from 3rd to 4th grade. And in Roscoe, you go to Kinnickinnick for 4th grade.
Oh, Kinnickinnick's a great school system too. I love subbing there. So.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've spent a lot of time at home.
Yes.
Okay. Are you got cabin fever?
A little bit. No, I actually like being home a lot. I'm pretty known for not wanting to leave my house. So I was actually fine in that sense. I mean, we got a little stir crazy only because there's, 5 people in the house, but.
No dogs?
We do. We have 2 dogs. We have 2 cats. So.
Well, what I really want to talk a little bit about, Desi, is you are a small business owner.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us about your business. Tell us, some people may not know where you are now. Why don't you tell us about your business?
Yes, I own Bliss Hair and Nail Studio. It's on North 2nd Street, just right into Loves Park if you're coming from Rockford. It's right next to the Dairy Depot, which is awesome right now. I've already gotten my first ice cream cone.
They're open then? They're open?
They are.
Okay. I can tell you I appreciate my barber so much more now. Like, I know. I didn't even know. My first appointment is Saturday, and I can't wait. I'm going crazy, and I try to shave my beard. It's there's no way. So I appreciate my barber. But what impact has this had on your business?
Well, we were closed for 3 months, which means we had no income. My renters weren't there, so I didn't ask them to continue to pay rent because I didn't feel like that was fair. But I had to still pay my rent, so I had to pay 3 months of rent, utilities. I mean, we didn't really use any consumables, so that was okay. Obviously, we didn't need any toilet paper. We had a lot of that.
You could have sold that to pay your rent.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But yes, so that definitely was difficult. But a year ago in June, I moved to the new place. Before that, I was downtown Rockford, which I'd been there for 6 years. Actually, I'd been downtown for 20 years total. So the move was a little hard, but I basically cut my expenses in that move by 60 to 65%. So if this would have happened last year, I probably would have been shut down. because I don't think I could have done 3 months there.
Oh, so the move was a good thing.
The move was, it was definitely, yeah.
Good, good.
A good thing.
Have you, I don't know much about the federal programmings for small businesses. Have you taken advantage of any of them, or do any of them work out for you or anything like that?
I didn't, because I could swing it. I mean, I had to use some of my savings, and that I normally wouldn't have used. But the way that I looked at it, I didn't want to take it from someone else who might need it more. So I just,
in all my times that I've been working with you, since your children were young and stuff, that's something that always sets you have such a great compassion for others, and for others who sometimes people don't have compassion for. You're very accepting, and that's why I think kids love you and stuff like that. So what's in the future for, is it Bliss?
Yes.
Bliss. How are you going to make this nation blissful, I hope?
Yes. Well, we still have this. I mean, we're all still there. There's 4 of us. I'm a cosmetologist. I do hair and nails. So I have a hair station and nail station. And then I have 2 girls that do nails and 1 that does hair. Mm-hmm. Well, women, they're not girls.
Yeah. Are you still taking appointments?
We are, yes. We are taking, we do take new appointments. We are taking walk-ins, which we've never really been a walk-in model salon, just because we've always been appointments. But we do take new clients.
Are there new guidelines you have to follow? I mean,
well, we have to wear our masks, which is difficult working that long. I mean, but we have to, and that's fine. So we're pretty clean anyway. We're sanitary industry where we have to sanitize between clients. I wipe doorknobs a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wipe, my station between clients. I make, really sure that everything's clean, and everyone's wearing masks if we're too close, and so.
Well, now, if someone in our congregation wanted, I would feel much more secure going to someone I know than just walking in. Would they call, or could they just walk in, or when are you open? Like, you're at home today. But
I am home today. No, it'd be best to call me personally, not the salon's number, the one that's on Google. That goes to the salon, but the church has my number. So if anyone wanted to, or anyone wanted to, they could give me a call.
All righty.
I can make an appointment.
Well, there seems to be a lot of happiness in that household.
There is.
There is? Okay. Well, I can't wait till we can all get back together and you can make some lasagna or pizza set for us.
I know.
Okay.
I haven't made dinner at church for a while, so I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Spaghetti. We'll do spaghetti.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, thank you.
And Jesse, thank you for really hearing the voice that you should be on TV today. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jim. Bye, Krista. Bye, everybody.
And now it's time for tips from teachers.
Today's teaching moment has to do with your physical fitness. I'm concerned that everyone is just sitting around watching TV during this isolation. I think you need some fresh air, and I know you need more activity. So, there are a few things we can do. First of all, I think one of the most important things is walking. Even if you're in a retirement home, even if you have a walker, maybe you can walk to the end of the hall, turn around and go back. Do it a couple of times the next day. Make sure you're safe, though, and someone is watching you. If you're able to walk, get outside. Get some of that fresh air. Just walk and enjoy God's creation. I try to walk a little bit each day, and I'm doing more walking since we've been in isolation than I was before. Have it with a purpose. The purpose is to get out and look at the beautiful area. The purpose is to get more physically fit and to get some activity. I try to walk with a little bit of purpose. I'm a slow walker normally. I just kind of slog along. But if I walk like I'm walking at O'Hare Airport trying to catch the next bus back to Rockford, then I do it at a good speed and I do it with purpose. I think I see more people walking now than I have ever before. In fact, I know the people, my neighbors that I've never met before. I know their dogs' names, but now I'm meeting the actual people. It's fun. Maybe you can walk with your neighbor. Maybe you can walk your neighbor's dog. Whatever. Get out, enjoy it, and increase it a little bit each day. If you walk 15 minutes today, try and walk 16 minutes tomorrow. Make it fun, but make it a habit. Otherwise, you won't do it. Second thing is, maybe you like to play tennis. I know a lot of people do, and they haven't been doing it. You can do tennis during this isolation. Put your name on your tennis balls, or just a signal or a dot or whatever that says it's yours. Go out and play, and then pick up only your balls. At the end, don't do a high five, do a elbow. But have fun. Get out and enjoy it. Also, of course, I'm going to talk about golf. Golf's a great exercise. The driving ranges are open at Ingersoll and Elliott. I think it's like $5 a bucket. Go out and hit a bucket of balls. Go out to the park. Go out to a park and take some shag balls. Go out, hit them, go pick them up. Good exercise. Or, now you're allowed to play golf. You can also rent a cart. It's one person per cart. But get out, and I remember Pat Waters used to call it God's Little Acre. Go on out, play some golf, get some activity. Another way is biking. A lot of people are getting their bikes out, pumping up the old tires and riding. The bike shops in Rockford say they're almost out of bicycles. People are taking it up. Maybe one of the good things that'll come out of this is people will be more active because they've done it. That's about it. Enjoy, get out and do it. You can also do some other exercises. Even as a PE teacher, I never liked to do exercises. I wanted to play a game. So make it a game. Do it however is best for you. But remember, every age needs activity. And also remember, the only thing you own is your body and your faith. So get moving, and God bless. Thank you.
And now it's time for Cooking with Court Street.
Hi, welcome to Cooking with Court Street. Today we're going to learn how to make tater tot casserole. This is an oldie but a goodie. I grew up with it, but some people have never had it. So I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to make it. It's super simple, and it's a lot of ingredients that you can have on hand to make this casserole in a pinch. So a pound of hamburger is what you will need. A can of cream of mushroom soup or cream of chicken soup will work. I use onions with my meat, but you don't have to put onions in it. A bag of tater tots, salt and pepper. If you want to put vegetables in it, corn, beans, peas, you can do that as well and make it more like a shepherd's pie. We're pretty plain here. We don't like to have the vegetables in there, so we usually have that part and the vegetables on the side. So to start off with, we're going to ground our hamburger. It's going to not brown all the way, but for the most part, almost all the way, almost brown. So once that is done, then we will move on to the next step. I add the onions in there also to brown with the hamburger to give it a little bit more flavor. So we browned our ground beef with our onion, and as you can see, it's fully cooked, and the onion is opaque, so it means it is softened, so it won't be a big chunky hard piece when you bite into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to drain the fat off of this, and then we're going to put it in a 2-quart casserole dish, and we'll line the bottom with that. So I did put a little bit of salt in here. Once we drain the fat out, I'll add a little bit more salt and pepper to season the meat, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I have drained the fat from the meat. I'm going to add a little pepper into my mixture here, a little bit of salt to give a little bit of flavor. We'll mix that in, and we're going to add it to our casserole dish. So that will be our base. And you spread that in the bottom of your casserole dish. Okay, then we're going to add our can of cream of mushroom soup. And like I said, you can use cream of chicken, cream of celery, any kind of cream soup will give it that creamy middle layer. And it will bake through once we're done. So we just spread that around over our meat. Okay, so the final step is adding the tater tots to the top. And you can do a pattern if you'd like. You can just lay them on any which way. I tend to do a little bit of a pattern just so then they look pretty when it comes out of the oven. Our oven is on at 350, so you can have that preheating when you're cooking your meat. But I just lay my tater tots in a row around my casserole. And then we're going to, once we get the tater tots laid out, we will put a little bit of salt on top. So as it cooks, it will season that and give it a little bit more flavor. We're going to add a little more salt to the top, just a little bit of seasoning. Because who doesn't like potatoes with a little bit of salt on it? Okay, so once that's all put together, then we will put it in a 350-degree oven for about 45 minutes. You can check it after about 30 minutes just to see if it's bubbling all the way through. If it needs to come out at 30 minutes, then everybody's oven's different, so kind of check it at that. If it needs to be in a little bit longer, just leave it in a little bit longer. But your tater tots should be brown on top, and it will be cooked all the way through. So we will show you what the final result is with the magic of TV and video. We will show you when this is done. Okay, so with the advancement in television and video, you get to see the final product of our tater tot casserole. So this is our final product. It smells wonderful, and we're going to scoop some up onto our plate. And I hope you enjoy.
I will.
And now it's time for Make a Joyful Noise.
We all started on the outside looking in. This is where grace begins. We were hungry, we were thirsty, with nothing left to give. Oh, the shape that we were in. And just when all hope seemed lost, love opened the door for us. He said, come to the table. Come join the sinners who have been redeemed. Take your place beside the Savior. Sit down and be set free. Come to the table. Come meet this motley crew of misfits, these liars and these thieves. There's no one unwelcome here. That sin and shame that you brought with you, you can leave it at the door. Let mercy draw you near. So come to the table. Come join the sinners who have been redeemed. Take your place beside the Savior. Sit down and be set free. Come to the table. Come to the table. Sit down and be set free. Come to the table.
And now it's time for Prayers with Pastor.
Good evening. Welcome to Holy Cow. It's a wonderful time, midweek, hump day. We're ready to roll. I have here in front of me, I want to talk today a little bit about what I call Facts for Fathers. I want to spend a few minutes giving you 10 points that I found on a site that's called Neraland Forum. It's out of Nigeria. And so it's a wonderful place to be able to find some facts about things that would pertain to a father. I have 10 points. And I took my granddaughter's sketching pad, and when she comes to the house to visit, and I used some of her pages, which got some tremendous artwork. If you can see it in the back, all that wonderful scribbling that means something to her, and I don't understand it, but it's okay. But I would suggest that we would, number one, be a good example. Your life is like a book. Children are always looking and reading what's going on in your life. They watch your actions. They watch your deeds. A good example, be a good example in character, in conversation, in your actions, in your deeds. Live an exemplary life as close as you can because your kids are watching. They're looking. Okay? And then the second point is that we need to be a priest in a sense. Let them know the way of God and how to serve God and teach them and lead them in prayer and when to pray and how to pray and how to live a godly life. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And when we say fear, we're not talking about one that repels, but one that attracts. It's an awe-type expression. And I pray that we'll capture that as fathers. The third one is a provider. Being a good provider, do not let your family suffer. If they have need for bread, or food or shelter or clothing or whatever. Try to do the best you can to provide those. Leave a legacy of love. And when I say that, legacy of love says that, when your children, when you are missing, if by chance you're missing, your children can remember all the good, wonderful things that you left behind. That was something they could hold on to for the rest of their life. Also, be a protector. It is your role to protect your family in some form or sense. Protect them from the evil vices of this world, and that's a big job. That goes on daily. They are being influenced by their friends and also outside forces that you have no control over because you're not with them at times. So if you put a good word in and give them some good examples, then they'll have something to fight with. Stand up and defend your family whenever necessary. And fifthly, be a good playmate. I know it's hard for us men sometimes to take time out to play with our kids and to be with them, but it's something about playing with your children, like taking them for a walk and laughing and talking with them, playing games with them. These are moments that are unforgettable. I'm sorry. They're indelible. They burn a path in their brain and their heart that cannot be erased. And so thank you for that. The sixth one is being a good companion. Always be there for your family. They need you. Be with your children on their first day of school, doing their homework, graduation, weddings, birthdays, etc., etc. Those are things that are hard for us sometimes to put into our priority list, but the kids need you to do that and be a part of it. Seventh, you need to be a teacher. Teach your children what to do, how to do, when to do. Teach them religious beliefs. One real father is better than it's an old adage, African adage. One real father is better than 1,000 headmasters. And so charity and education begins at the house. It begins at home with mom and dad. So be a good teacher. Also, be a good trainer. Train them. Train them in the way of God. Train them in the good and how to be good and law-abiding citizens. Train them in the responsibilities of a family and their school and their religion and what society expects of them. Don't forget, children training is more to do with lifestyle than it does what you say. So a good example by deed is probably the best way of training them in a lot of cases. Number 9, servant. Render selfless service to your family. Show them a good example. It shouldn't all be about you. It has to do with everyone that you were with in the relationship. Mom, spouse, whatever, your mate, partner, whoever you have with you, but the children should see that you show that servant spirit, which Jesus demonstrated by washing the feet of the disciples. And then so he encouraged us to serve others. So we serve people at home, we serve people at work, we serve people in worship. And we don't want pride to be in our way, because pride comes before a fall. But somebody said, I want to be proud. Well, you can be proud, but don't be prideful. Last but not least, I believe is the most important. It's the undergirding foundation of all of it. Love. The greatest gift a father can give his children is love. You don't just love the mother, you love the children as well. So you love both. And so love your children, make them feel at home, make them feel welcome, give them be a good listener to them, listen to what they have to say, let them feel the fatherly warmth and embrace them as much as you can at times, to let them know that you do care about them. And, when you're telling them I love you, those 3 words are powerful. That's something that will work magic, or it's a mysterious thing that God gave us. Love is. So saying I love you is a good thing, those 3 words. Now I say to you, fathers, your children need you. Your wife or your mate or your spouse needs you. Your family needs you. And society needs you. Your children define your family defines society, and our society defines the nation and the world that we live in. And so be a responsible father, and your family will be proud of you. Happy Father's Day. And my prayers as we close this, that you will be filled with the love of God, and that you will follow Jesus Christ, and that you will also allow God's Spirit to guide and lead you in everything. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Well, Okay, I have something here that's a symbol, and it may be something you guessed, but this is what I have in mind. A red heart. And a lot of times you'll see them on Valentine's Day. People send them to one another. A red heart means we love you or I love you, and it's a way of sharing our caring for people. But also, on the 24th of May, John Wesley went to a meeting, and they were reading something that touched his own heart, mind, and imagination. And he said out of that experience that all of a sudden, all the things he was thinking and searching for about God became very real. And he said, I felt my heart was strangely warmed. So hearts feature in both days, and both days are good to think about what it means to love or to receive the love of God. Now, you may have noticed these days, a lot of people have hearts in their windows, even business places, because it's talking about how we care about one another, and while we're sheltering in and caring for ourselves, we're also caring about and for others, so that disease is not passed from person to person. And that's one of the ways that we show love and care. So there's something to think about that ties those 2 days together. And one's a very special Methodist day, but it has to do also with hearts and love. Thank you.
Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight for Holy Cow. We want to remind you that we're here third Wednesday of every month. That'll be July 15th, the Ides of July next month. And we'll be talking about racism and how it has affected some of our members of our congregation or people who go to Court Street. I want to thank Julia. It was great to see her again and wish her the best of luck on Broadway. Desi for telling us how it feels to be an independent worker in the area of what it's like today. And Richard Wang and our cook and everybody else. And a big thank you to Krista Tilges for making this very possible. It may look like I'm in a barn. I'm actually in Krista's dining room. The magic of TV, I guess. I also want to thank Pastor Cal for his guidance and his wisdom and his messages that he gives us. I hope you feel connected. I think it's very important in this time that we feel connected with our church family. If you have any concerns or ways that you would like to see our program grow or this television program grow, please don't hesitate to call the church or email Krista and I, and we'll take your criticism and comments and put them good to use. We had started Holy Cow as a potluck, and we would work many hours on a potluck that only 10 or 12 people could show up to when we were at the church. But we've been reaching 100 to 200 people each episode, so we're really excited about that. So I think Holy Cowow is here to stay, and we appreciate your support. Next month, why don't you, though, make a meatloaf and eat it with us like we were at a potluck. In fact, if any of you would like to share your meatloaf recipe, of course your Methodist meatloaf recipe, we will cook it next month in our cooking segment. And I also want to wish all the dads out there, or dads-to-be, or grandpas, or people who have taken the dad roles for many people, happy Father's Day. And also, we'll be celebrating July 4th before we're on the TV again. And we just really want you to take a moment or two to reflect about how lucky we are to be celebrating July 4th this year, and how unique July 4th, 2020 will be. Thank you. God bless, and hallelujah and amen.